back. So we're the three dudes of horror. So I'm Toots.
Worm Boy.
Damien.
All right, and today we're going to review / roast the original Leprechaun.
More roasting though.
Yeah, more roasting and than reviewing. This movie, it's one of those special moments when you watch this movie. It's almost like, you know, when you remember the first time you had like diarrhea in public. It's one of those things.
I've never had diarrhea in public.
It's like it's memorable, where it's like in an awful way, in an awful way.
Have you had diarrhea in public?
No, not me.
So then how would you know?
I'm sure people have had diarrhea in public. All right.
Yeah,
so,
it's pretty bad.
Yes, it's. A part of me wants to say it's awesomely bad because it does have funny moments in it, but at the same time, the majority of the scenes are just so awful you kind of can't help but just kind of look in awe, like a car crash, you know, of clowns crashing into a chicken truck, you know.
What the fuck's wrong with you today?
I don't know how else to describe the movie. It's like
a clown truck with chicken.
It's like a clown car crashing into a chicken truck. It's kind of awful in a way, but kind of funny if you think about it.
That sounds funny to me, not awful. But
Well, it's like we said, it's not fun to watch by yourself.
No, it's not.
But it's really entertaining to watch with a group.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where you get to kind of riff through it and make fun of it.
yeah, the acting's horrible.
Yeah, the acting's horrible. I think the one that I could tell was actually kind of trying was Jennifer Aniston, because I think it's one of her first major, if you want to call it that, a major film.
It's not a major film.
And I guess she was kind of trying to like stick by the book and do whatever the director said, because it looks like she's really giving it her all. But you have to admit, the star of the show is Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And it's bad that this, like, part 1 is terrible, and then it spawned like something like 7 sequels.
I wonder which producer or executive producer said, you know what, like after reviews and everything for this first one, this needs to be a franchise because there's money to be made here. I'm curious who greenlit this entire series. And I'm sure there's a cult following to it, except, you know.
I'm sure it's a studio that's gone bankrupt by now.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Wormboy seems to be very traumatized by it.
It's shitty acting, for the most part.
Yeah.
And the CGI doesn't really do justice to anything.
There's no CGI in this one.
Yeah,
it's just shitty. It's just shitty special effects.
Oh, it looked like CGI.
And there's an absurd amount of product placement for 90s high tops, like LA gear and pumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have those. The LA gears with the lights.
Yeah. If I wonder what they were thinking of. Like, you know what, we should endorse our product in this movie. We should do product placement because it seems like a hit.
And was it supposed to be a horror comedy on purpose, or was this actually supposed to be horror?
I think it's supposed to be a horror comedy.
Oh, okay.
To an extent, I think it took itself a little too seriously. At the same time, it was kind of letting go of. Yeah, you know what I mean. It was kind of lax, but at the same time, it's like we're making gold here.
The Leprechaun reminds me of like a miniature Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but that would be insulting Beetlejuice, and I don't want to do that. So Damien, which one was your favorite part? Because you were just laughing hysterically at some part.
Yeah, I remember the part you laughed the most.
Well, I just think like there's so much, like it's like the writers weren't even trying to make it make sense. Like where he's chasing him into the house, and then they slam the door on his hand, and his hand severs and hits the floor in the house. So then his hand starts climbing the door to the doorknob and opens the door for him. So now he can just walk right in, but he doesn't. He just grabs his hand and reattaches it. And it's like, why didn't the Leprechaun just walk in right there?
Well, that and why did he even bother with the severed hand if he could have just used his other hand to open the door? Because it didn't seem like it was locked.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a force of habit.
Yeah, because
When he's like, "Oh, my hand's right there. Let me put it back on." You know.
yeah, let it crawl up the door to open a door that he could have done with his other hand.
You can also say that maybe because he didn't have his full powers yet, maybe he was just dumb.
Yeah, it was just
Because he needed that goal to be powerful, I guess. And then he just missed one, and he still wanted the goal. I'm like, man, you greedy motherfucker.
it's one of those movies where I don't even know where to start in terms of just ripping it apart. It just has so many bad scenes in it.
The bike, when he's in the bike, he like
On the little
teleports.
tricycle, yeah.
Yeah, the tricycle. To me,
But-
just teleports is fucking ridiculous.
He teleports to the safe in the
And the collectors,
yeah,
and the
amazingly
collectors.
this tiny town that seems like it's like 300, 400 people. But there's somehow a collector's shop in this town where the guy's like a coin expert. It just happens to be there conveniently to
Yeah.
check out the coin. But then it's like a collectible store and there's a little go-kart there. So the Leprechaun jacks the go-kart after he kills the guy by hopping on him with a pogo stick.
And then he gets stopped by a police officer.
Sees this tiny little person in a go-kart flying down the street and he pulls them over with his sirens on and everything. Like
And what made me laugh at that part was not so much the fact that this cop probably had nothing better to do and was probably bored and stopped the car.
He looked serious.
Yeah, he looked serious.
yeah, that's
He
what I
looked-
mean. He was
yeah.
seriously pulling him over. Like I was waiting for him to walk up to the driver's side and be like,
Laughing.
license and registration.
Yeah, like as soon as the Leprechaun was driving this go-kart, this cop, I'm assuming he was probably like a rookie cop that was going by the book, because like he just starts to panic, like if it was an actual chase. He's like, well, that can't happen, and then he starts turning on his
But then
engine.
again, like a go-kart would go that fast, you know?
Well,
Unless, I guess some of them can go fast.
it depends how it's powered, but still, the fact that this cop is like, well, what, and like, well, that can't happen. He just, I better stop that car.
Yeah.
The worst character is what's his name? The Chubbs guy.
Oh, the one from
Ozzy.
Teen Wolf, Ozzy.
I hate that character the most. I mean, I hate all of them, but that one the most.
He's a rip-off of Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
He's like this grown man with the mind of a child that likes to read comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, but it seems that the character, like his mental faculties, just kept getting worse as the movie progressed. Like soon it'll come to the point where he's gonna need help going to the bathroom. Yeah, because it was just getting worse and worse and worse. Oh, and my favorite part, or one of my favorite parts, was when the Leprechaun tricks out that little go-kart
Oh yeah.
and makes it into like a twisted metal car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
was
then
like
somehow he just hits the truck and it flips.
It's like if Leprechaun was in the Road Warrior, that would be his vehicle.
Yeah.
I like the pitchfork and the, what do you call them, the hedge trimmers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess like.
And I understand he's strong and he has magic powers, but the fact that this little go-kart is able to just hit this huge truck, or at least an average sized truck,
Yeah, that was
pickup
another
truck.
scene.
Yeah, but then you have to think about it. Those trucks were usually made out of metal, so it would have been harder.
Well, yeah, and that's
it's a go-kart. Come on, it's not believable.
yeah. Well, that's the gag though. It's the fact that just because this leprechaun was driving it, this little go-kart, it was like, yeah, fuck physics, and then just goes and just plows through this truck
Yeah.
and flips it over. Yeah. Yeah, we watched this movie. I watched it a long time ago. It's actually been a while since I saw it. And then we watched it right before we're recording this. And I was like, good God, like when I first saw it, I actually thought the movie was like, oh, okay, it's stupid, but you know.
It's not bad.
And then watching it again, it's like, wow, it's bad. It's awesomely bad.
Yeah, it is.
Or like the rip-off of Nightmare on Elm Street, where his hand comes through
Telephone.
the phone receiver.
Yeah.
And then the phone's not even connected either. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the phone wasn't even connected.
It's
I don't
also
know.
a rip-off of Nightmare on Elm Street,
Oh, really?
where Freddy's talking on the phone that's not connected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No, but I think even when they use the phone like normal, like to call the sheriff,
Yeah,
it wasn't plugged in.
They didn't have it in the budget.
Yeah, it just
They're like, we can't afford to have the cord plugged in. Come on, guys.
you know, and it was on the O'Grady farm. What the hell kind of farm was this? What were they growing? You know what?
O'Grady's.
You know, there were no animals, there were no crops or anything like that. You'd think a farm would, you know, have shit like that.
But this is after he died, right? Or after he went to where'd he go to?
Like a nursing home or something like that. Yeah.
They never talked about the grandma died. That's right.
Yeah. She got pushed on. She got pushed down the stairs.
Yeah, she went down that road.
I bet this movie actually could have been scary.
It could have.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Because it had like it had those little like horror movie things that I like supernatural trappings, like how he has to stop and polish shoes.
Yeah.
And it gives him a chance to run away.
Yeah, the leprechaun has a shoe fetish. So every time they throw boots and shoes at him, he just has to shine them.
Yes, it has the time. And then he carries a rag with him, I guess.
I guess.
Shine them?
I guess so.
And that was also another.
And shoe shine.
That was also another dumb scene where they come back to the house and the leprechaun had like trashed the kitchen looking for the gold.
Mm-hmm.
But he had all the shoes perfectly placed on the dining room table.
He has OCD.
And they were all polished.
He has OCD. That's what he has.
And then the poor man's Kevin Bacon guy says, well, maybe it was a bear.
Yeah. That was funny. It was like, who put all these shoes on the table?
Bear.
Oh, it must have been a bear. They like to come around these parts.
An OCD bear. I think what he meant was the cereal on the floor.
And then when Jennifer Aniston says something was caressing my leg and it ran over there, and the dad says, oh, it might have been a possum, or what does he say?
A possum caresses your leg. Wow.
It was something like that. It was like a.
And the guy was like, "Oh, you let me caress your leg."
The dialogue is like ridiculously bad in this movie.
I don't know about you, but if something grabs my leg from under a truck, you know, I'm gonna freak out.
Oh.
Huh? You know, like what the leprechaun was doing to Jennifer Aniston, like grabbing her leg.
She thinks it's the guy that was just standing behind her across the yard in front of the house.
He teleports too.
That somehow in that time he got under the truck and started caressing her leg.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Really terrible. But it's fun to watch with a group.
Yeah, it is. I'll admit that it is. It does have funny moments. It is fun to watch in a group, but to try to watch it by yourself, or at least maybe with one other person, it does seem like a chore.
Yeah.
It's just, man, this movie is just, I don't know how else to describe it. Just awesomely bad. It's just awesomely bad.
I don't think it's awesomely bad. I just think it's just fucking shit.
Oh yeah, you despise
just
it.
Plain old shit.
Which one? Okay, in your opinion.
Don't mention that. Don't mention that.
Okay, I'm gonna mention it.
No,
I'm gonna mention it.
You mention it every fucking podcast.
I don't mention it every podcast.
Yeah, you do. I'll go back and show it to you.
You're gonna show me an audio file.
Just say it.
All right.
I'm gonna record them all.
Just say it. Just say it.
All right. Which was worse, this one or House of the Dead?
I think this one.
You think this one's? I thought the other one was worse.
I think they're both.
House of the Dead's really bad, but I think this one's worse.
I think they both fall in the category where it's impossible to watch alone, but it's fun to watch with a group. Just to slam everything that's ridiculous about it.
Yeah, and the fact that it has like 7 other sequels to it.
I can't believe that. Yeah. And did they even make money? Like I'm actually curious now.
Maybe they were doing the Uwe Boll thing where he writes it off like for tax time and he gets money back. Yeah. So it's not like he loses money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I really hope they remake them.
They should have just gave Oz some turbo lax and so he
have
could
him
like
shit out the coin.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because Ozzy, the man child, swallows the coin, and
Accidentally because he's trying to bite it to see if it's like actual real gold.
yeah, who knows? Maybe he thought it was chocolate inside. I don't know. and
The chocolate coins.
yeah, the chocolate coins, and he bites into it and somehow swallows it.
You just have to go with it.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where if you plan to watch it in a group, just be prepared to turn your brain off.
And I like Warwick Davis.
Because
I like Warwick Davis too.
But this movie just sucks balls.
the writers could not have been genuinely trying to write things that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's horrible. And then Damien's favorite part was where the leprechaun grabs his balls.
yeah, he
And
grabs
the way
not
he's-
Kevin Bacon's balls.
The poor man's Kevin Bacon, but the way he screams is priceless.
It's not even acting. It's like a normal person would, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, it's priceless. His expression and the high pitched scream, like it's hilarious.
I know. And then you were laughing for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Laughing spell.
You almost choked.
Yeah, it's
That's gonna be one of those things that like I'll be standing in line at the bank or I'll be at work trying to pay attention when the boss is talking and I'm gonna think of that and then it's gonna
you're
be
gonna start
it's
cracking
gonna
up.
be torture to not laugh. It's gonna be one of those things. It's like one of those things that you think about it while you're in church and then you have to hold in the laughter for like the rest of the sermon. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I can picture that because it's. Yeah, it was such a stupid scene, and of course the leprechaun's always talking in puns. At least for the most part.
Where's my
Right?
pot of gold?
Because it's like they
Where's my
actually
gold?
had they actually had like a decent storyline, I guess. Like
It wasn't bad.
Mr. O'Grady was supposed to go to
Ireland.
Ireland to get his mom's ashes to bring back
Mm-hmm.
or to take to Ireland.
Yeah.
He was supposed to take his mom's ash remains back to Ireland or
I thought it was
It was
supposed to
something
bring them
like
from
that.
Ireland.
or to bring him from Ireland.
I think it was supposed to bring him from Ireland.
But then
And
he found the gold.
instead of that, he somehow captured Warwick Davis in Ireland and forced him to show him where his gold was, and then he brought that back
It was his slave almost, you know?
to the New World. So then the leprechaun comes to kill him to get his gold back, and he kills his wife. But then Mr. O'Grady manages to trap him in a crate with a 4-leaf clover.
Yeah, on top of it.
Yeah,
I thought 4-leaf clovers were for like good luck. Why would that affect the leprechaun?
It doesn't explain it. It doesn't
yeah.
explain
You
it.
just it's one of you have to just go with it. Like how I was saying, how Mr. O'Grady's like holding the 4-leaf clover in front of him, like how a person holds a crucifix to ward off a vampire.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And then when they're looking for one towards the end of the movie, and like, oh, here's one. Like,
Oh yeah, and it's a small patch.
Yeah,
It's a small patch that's like bright green.
in the midst of all this dead grass and
Yeah.
dead
Yeah.
trees.
And I just like Jennifer Aniston's reaction where she's just like, "Oh my God, we're never gonna find a 4-leaf clover," and I'm like, "It's not a fucking field, you know. It's just a small patch."
It's probably on that little patch of really green grass.
Yeah, just give it half an hour at the most, maybe.
Well,
If you're
anyway,
not-
so then like 10 years later, the main characters, I guess, show up to the same house, and Ozzy, the giant man boy, accidentally, inadvertently frees the leprechaun, and then all hell breaks loose. He's trying to get his gold back.
Yeah,
And you have a shitty movie.
yeah. It's if you want to know who's responsible for the series of movies,
You know what?
thank Ozzy.
You know what? Leprechaun in the Hood's way better than this one.
Huh?
I think so.
Which one?
Leprechaun in the Hood.
You thought Leprechaun in the Hood?
Yeah.
I honestly have not seen that one.
Leprechaun in the Hood's a lot funnier.
I've seen the first 3.
It's
I-
funny.
Well, actually, no. I've seen the first like 4.
Warwick Davis and Ice-T had real chemistry.
Yeah, they did. They're like true G's.
Yeah, because I remember seeing part 2. I just really don't remember it. I remember the one from Vegas.
You don't want to
also.
remember that unless you want to be traumatized again.
No, not yeah. No, one Leprechaun movie tonight is enough. For my psyche.
But you know what I never thought about is this movie is another one of those that falls under my theory that a lot of big name actors and actresses they have their start in a really low budget horror movie, like Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th and Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Jennifer Aniston in the first Leprechaun.
Mm-hmm. And Rick James
and you know they're
Purple Rain.
What?
And you know a part of them is like terrified every time they do an interview that they're gonna play a joke on them and bring it up. So that it's just like something that follows them around for the rest of their career.
I think Jennifer Aniston nowadays is a big enough star that she doesn't need like a resume like to audition or anything.
Yeah.
Like she just gets offered roles. But I'm sure at some point she was like, I'm not gonna include this in the resume.
Yeah.
Maybe for the first couple years.
You don't know. Maybe she did. I think she would have.
Yeah, it's. Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts about the movie? Like I said, I really don't remember part 2. I remember watching it. I just don't remember it. I remember the one in Vegas, which was part 3.
The last time I saw any of the sequels was when I was a kid, when I would watch them like on late night marathons on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And the only part I remember about the part 3 in Vegas is where he, like what we were talking about earlier, where he's doing the magic show, but he actually cuts the guy in half and splits the box open and like all the guts and everything.
Yeah.
And then the girl blowing up.
Like, yeah, her boobs get really big and just, or something like that.
That's what you remember, Toots.
Huh?
But which one's the one where he makes the kid see the chick's boobs and the lawnmower blades, and then he walks right into the blades and kills himself?
That's the thing. I don't remember.
I don't either.
And I think there was like Leprechaun in Space or whatever. I think that might have been like part 4. Yeah, it's
Leprechaun in Space. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like any other franchise.
They should just make leprechauns on the snakes with planes and shit. I mean, on the plane with snakes.
Because Jason goes to space. Leprechaun goes to space.
Freddy needs to go to space.
Pinhead
fuck up your dreams,
went to fucking space. Yeah.
That's when the writers have just run out of options.
Chucky goes to space.
Did Chucky ever go to space? I don't
he
think
probably will eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on his way.
Mm-hmm.
He's on his way.
That's when the writers have just run out of anything.
Yeah, send the motherfucker to space.
It's like we can't come up with anything to even keep the villain in this world anymore, so take him to outer space.
Yeah. Yeah, but I have not seen the hood ones, like In the Hood or Return to the Hood or whatever.
They're funny. Yeah, but this movie's just garbage.
Yeah, it is.
It's more than garbage. I mean, I respect garbage more than this. It's a waste of time, waste of money. Don't buy the movie.
Just like the scene that made me think of Predator, when the poor man's Kevin Bacon unloads like 6 blasts from the shotgun into the bush, and he had just capped the leprechaun like right in the chest, and then he walks over to the bush and there's actually like green blood on the debris, just like Predator. And I was like, it would be awesome if he turned at that moment and just said, "There's no blood, no bodies. We hit nothing."
Yeah,
like just like Predator.
Very dramatic.
But they actually say, he actually says like, I unloaded 6 rounds on him. He must be dead, even though there's no body right there.
Yeah, like
clearly he got up and ran off. Like it's another one of those moments where the writing is just like they weren't even trying. Like, yeah, it's like that's one of those moments where I'm like, it has to be a movie that was meant to be stupid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But the fact that this had a theatrical release, it's one thing if it was just straight to video, but the fact that it had a theatrical release is like,
it was probably because they thought, I don't know, they thought people were gonna fall for it. And they did.
Okay, either the filmmakers were being delusional, or they were high on something, or they lost a bet with somebody to make it.
And then the Lucky Clovers thing.
Yeah.
Like when you can't afford the rights to Lucky Charms.
Lucky
Like,
Clovers.
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
gonna make a Leprechaun movie, you know they have to throw in a Lucky Charms joke. But they
But
couldn't.
didn't the kid say Lucky
Yeah, the
Charms?
kid. Yeah, the kid, like with the slingshot, and he shoots the 4-leaf clover
Into his
into
mouth.
into the leprechaun's mouth. He's like, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," like that.
That's how they kill him.
The best line in the movie.
I'm
In
like,
my opinion.
and then I was like, I like Lucky Charms.
That was the cheesy.
Early 90s.
No,
yeah.
that was the cheesy 80s one-liner that made it over into the early 90s.
Yeah.
I give this movie a Z.
Z. Beyond F. It's just Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're serious.
An F plus
if
plus.
if you're seriously gonna grade this movie on a scale from A to F, it gets an F. But I'm not seriously gonna give this movie a grade. It's just
It doesn't deserve one.
It's not rated.
yeah.
It's not graded.
Yeah,
if
I had an idea. What we can do is get all these movies and just put them in a bonfire and just burn them and film it.
bury it in a field of clovers.
No,
Just to make sure that it doesn't ever-
Just like House of the Dead, Space Jam, this one. We just put them all together and fucking burn them.
Space Jam's not horror. It's horrible, but
But you know, just horrible shit.
no. If I had to give this movie a grade,
I would give it an F.
I would give it an F to. I would say F plus, but that really wouldn't make a difference anyway. I'd say F.
F plus.
Yeah, it's like shit on the other pile of shit. I would say F to D minus, and the reason I say it a D minus is because it does have funny moments in it. They're unintentionally funny, and it is fun to watch as a group, depending if everybody's
Drunk or
drunk or up to actually watching it instead of just being subjected to it. Yeah. If you're just subjecting, unsuspecting victims to it.
You know, they can use it in like interrogations and shit.
Yeah.
So that
After they waterboard you, they'll show you Leprechaun.
yeah, they're like we're gonna put it on repeat until you talk. You know.
Like the Chinese water torture isn't working.
Yeah. Like
Somebody go get Leprechaun.
Yeah. And then they're just like, so, are you going to talk? Please waterboard me.
I rather be beat up.
Waterboard me with lemon juice.
But I'm embarrassed. Like, I actually own it. 'Cause I found
Yeah.
I'm surprised you own it.
No, I mean, it's because it was in that little bargain bin at Walmart, I remember, like, 4 or 5 years ago or something.
They
And
mean
it's
if you
like,
secretly like it, it's okay.
it's like all three.
We all have guilty pleasures.
Yeah, it's a,
No, that's what I mean. Like, this movie's a guilty pleasure. Like, it's the first 3 and one of those cheap little triple packs.
how much
Mhm.
were they?
And for like $4.
Yeah, I mean, I've bought stuff like that.
You
Where
know
it's
that's
like,
fucking cheap.
And
when
I
it's
saw that
$4.
there, and I was just like, I was just thinking, like, it's gonna be one of those things that I'm gonna regret not getting later because it's only $4, like, just to have in my collection, just like for a laugh.
yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of buying shit like that. Not Leprechaun, but like buying stuff like
House of the Dead.
like the 3. No, well, I bought that for you for Christmas.
Uh,
But like the typical like straight to DVD Alien versus Hunter and like the knockoffs of like the like Alien versus Predator or whatever,
yeah.
shit movies like that.
Hey, well, next week we're gonna do which one?
Zombieland, eh?
Zombieland.
Zombieland.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking forward to that one because
Yeah.
I really like that movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's actually a good horror comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would say I would not recommend this movie, Leprechaun, to watch it by yourself.
Unless you want to commit suicide.
And yeah, if you want to torture yourself, you could do that. Or if you want to subject your friends, unwilling participants, to watch it, you can do that.
Yeah, or if you like want to make a bet with one of your friends, like that would be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not recommend this watching it by yourself or with maybe one other person. I would say it's a good movie just to watch and just make fun of with a group of people that are willing to make fun of it with you. Yeah, but other than that, don't don't bother trying to buy it. You know, I'm just glad Jennifer Aniston's moved on to bigger and better things.
That's what she said.
Yep.
This movie belongs like in a living room in the middle of the night, like full of like a bunch of horror geeks watching it together to laugh at it, or a bunch of drunken frat boys watching it together to laugh at it.
Or when your child misbehaves, like, okay, you want to watch Leprechaun, I guess.
Yeah.
Just put it on.
Oh yeah.
No. Well, you didn't behave.
Yeah, you're the Leprechaun. You're gonna see the Leprechaun. So next week we're gonna do Zombieland, a very good horror comedy, unlike this one. So we'll see you then. I'm Toots.
Worm Boy.
Damien.
And see ya.